All right, this is Neil Mohan, the new president of YouTube, because Susan Wizwiski is like, yeah, I'm done. Remember we just did a class on her a while ago, and we're like, oh, she's all right, INTP, and then she's like, I got 10 more kids, I'm done. And she just disappeared. Everyone's like, oh, okay, well, blast, see you later, bye. So Neil here, he's been in the wings for a long time. He's been working on YouTube for a long time, and he actually seems like a decent guy. Now, the thing that I was like, please no, is now, I'm the only one that typed him. Shani took a look at him real quick, but so maybe I'm off here, but I can't not see that I think this guy is actually the same type as me. Now I know, maybe he's a little bit more handsome than me, or a little bit more Indian than me, or whatever. He might not physically look exactly like me, but then the more I look at him, I'm like, I don't know. Maybe that is me. It kind of does look like Benny Hinn a little bit there, right? So yeah, maybe I guess I kind of see it a little bit here. So they're just a funny fucking goofosaur guy. So the thing that you'll be seeing in the clips is you're not going to be able to not see the guy is super double decider, super double decider. So he's one of those like super double deciders. And you're definitely going to see NI. He puts everything in buckets and in categories. And you're going to see a lot of blast. He just blasts it right back. Justine's going to be talking to him and he just repeats what she's saying. The guy's DI because he fake listens to the tribe. That's going to be funny to watch. Yes, tell me what you think. What are your thoughts? I'm like, okay, that's a trained behavior. It's like fake play. Like he's just trying to get by. It's a fucking racket. And then the values. Therefore, it's gonna be sleep. Just I don't know, man. I think that's the type he is. So the thing I wanted to kind of point out before we jump into the clips here is I saw this on this channel I'm subscribed to, Cold Fusion. It's a great channel. I've been watching it for years. I really like it. It's really good. But notice the thumbnail, right? So when I first saw this, I'm like, oh, whoa, scary. It looks like one of these big CEO guys, right? And classically, this is the case most of the time, is that these big corporate CEOs and the oil tycoons, and they're supposed to be these big bad guys. You're like, oh no, right? And then you go get to know them, and it's fucking Dave Jr. It's just a fucking goofosaur, just a fucking idiot, just having fun, right? A really good guy, but probably kind of clueless here and there. So he's like, he fucked me over. It's like, no, that's just because he's clueless. So that thumbnail there, no, don't buy that. No, that's not the real Neil. That's he's a silly fucking idiot, right? So the interview is with Justine. Now, Justine is great because they're opposites. If he's Davy Baby, she is visual, she's SEFI, she's EP, ESFP. So there's a lot of opposite dynamics. So she's the true consume, and Justine has been on the internet since day fucking one. Just absolutely day one. So she's done all the consume. She's the authority. She is the authority. This is her YouTube, not his. She's been there longer than him. And then you can kind of see that, like he kind of knows it, right? Like when people go to do interviews with Justine or people that have been around for a long time, Phil DeFranco or whatever, they're like, okay, look, I know I've just been here for 7 years and you've been here for fucking 20. So, So it's really great that Neil is like, yeah, let's face the true consume. Let's face what people really want. So Justine is asking him a lot of good questions. And it's funny because the more somebody is like SE, the more it forces the NI to do more NI. So he is going to be running right to his saviors in the first clip here. It's going to be perfect where she's going to be asking him questions. And he's like, oh yeah, I have 3 buckets. It's a fucking Dave show.
Do you want to kind of give us just a quick little overview of everything that you mentioned?
I mean, I think that the way I try to organize it and sort of the way that I think about it in my own head is really kind of 3 buckets. And the first bucket, and where I started the letter on purpose, is a lot of what I just said, which is about supporting creators. And so you have seen some of the work that we've done over the last few months in terms of revamping our monetization program, bringing monetization to shorts, the expansion of our YPP to include a fan funding tier, and on and on. And so just really focusing on helping our creators build businesses on our platform, finding ways to better support their businesses. So that can be everything from, ad supported to channel memberships to super chat to all of those types of opportunities that we're working on. That is one area of priority for me. That was sort of the first bucket.
Okay. One area of priority for me, my first bucket. All right, so the problem with my type, there might be a couple. One is it's just straight to the buckets and the lack of the consume. Like I can't consume. I don't even know where to start. So you get the true consumes and they're just like Shani. Like I'll be working with Shani, and then like all of a sudden we're 10 minutes into it's like she's giving me a slide presentation on her thing. And I'm like, so are we going through the thing? Like we're going line by line. Like what are we talking about? What's this category about? What's the meeting about? And like she'll just like forget to say like, oh here I want to walk you through all my slides. It's all I got, and then we're done. Like okay. Category, a bucket. Okay, so I see where all this is going. Like she'll just forget to mention that. So it's all this information. I don't know where to plug it in. And so the blaster is like, oh, I want to save you from all the consume. I don't want to take you along. I don't want to have you sitting there in suspense, going, what the hell is all this? What are you leading up to? In fact, it'll just jump to the end of the book, the end of the movie, and just give you the answer. I've always been baffled by that. And I know this isn't true for all NIs, but it's like, once I found out the teacher book had all the answers in the back, I'm like, well, then let's just fucking steal that. Let's just get that. What are we doing here? Or like, movies, spoilers. I'm like, yeah, tell me the end of the movie. Like, why would I want to watch it if the end of the movie sucks? Like, just tell me the end. Like, why do you want to hide that? Spoiler alert, what? Spoiler alert, the movie sucks. I want to know ahead of time. So it's like the NI is like trying to do you a favor. It's like trying to be like, don't watch the movie. Let me just tell you how it ends. See, I helped you out. And everyone's like, no. So it's like Neil's trying to do you a favor. He's not trying to tell you how did we get to these conclusions. He's just trying to do you a favor and be like, here's the conclusion.
Something that you also didn't really bring up, but I feel like everyone is talking about is AI. Now, obviously, I know Google has been talking about Bard and all the things that they're doing as well. So how do you see AI kind of changing the way that YouTube operates as a whole?
So the first thing that I'll say about that, and you're right, there is a lot of talk in the industry about it. We read about it. We watch videos about it every single day. It's been an area that, frankly, at YouTube, we've been investing in for years. And I'll just give you some examples. I mean, you open up the app, you see the home feed, there's recommendations in that home feed. I finished watching one of your videos. I'm recommended a bunch of videos right below that on the watch page. That is a product of AI. That's us investing very heavily in machine learning algorithms, deep learning to make it so that those recommendations get better and better and better, which obviously helps our creators, but also makes YouTube for our viewers. And so that's been going on for years.
Yeah, but they suck. Yeah, Neil, but they fucking suck. TikTok has set the standard. Like, you want to do AI? Like, TikTok, dude, has fucking AI, man. Holy shit, that thing can fucking read your brain. Like, YouTube algorithm? Like, fucking Christ, man. That thing is, like, I don't want to rant on Observer State. Oh, I'll calm down. But, like, I remember in the early years that it accidentally worked a lot better. And I sound like an old guy. Maybe it did. Yeah, it's INTJ. It's like, hey, how's your system work? It works great, and it's awesome, and it's cool, and it makes sense to me, and I like it, and I love it. Like, okay, compared to SCTE TikTok, how's your fucking AI doing?
But I guess I'm curious. How do you think about that? Do you think that having the ability to actually pick the frame that you would like as your custom frame thumbnail for shorts is kind of sufficiently moves in that direction?
I mean, I like it. I definitely think like on the go, I would do that. But then there's just something about going to my channel and then aesthetically like having like a curated thumbnail, even if it's something that you don't see in the short feed, it would just be like a presentation, kind of like your channel as a package as a whole. Like, okay, all of your thumbnails line up. You can do it like today or like a week from now. So it's not something I feel like you would have to do immediately. But I definitely think in the near term, just being able to choose that frame, I think is super helpful.
That's an interesting way of sort of splitting those two things. So obviously to get the short up and running, being able to pick within the frame so that you don't have that post-production type burden kind of piece, but then potentially being able to come back to it because these shorts do live on and that are consumed, in future days and weeks kind of a thing. So yeah, that's the way we're prioritizing it is let's give creators the ability to pick that frame on both platforms as quickly as possible. But we are talking about that longer term piece that you brought up as well. So that's really interesting feedback.
Yeah, I think that's great.
Yeah. That's just what I said, Neil. First of all, the more I watch of Neil, the more I really like the guy. He does seem like a good guy. Give him a chance. I know he's going to fuck up crypto and AI and all the rest, but he does seem to be a good guy, and he's been there for a long time. And that's where I feel safe. That's what I saw with Susan Wojcicki is, yeah, she's an INTP nut job. They all fucking are, but she also seemed to be a good person. Even Zuckerberg, like fucking reptilian alien Zuckerberg, he's like still seems to be a pretty good guy that's trying, even though it's just like functions only, man, just right into a fucking ditch. But thankfully they work on a team and they're competing against TikTok and others, that it's like you can be a delusional NIFI ass, but you're gonna fucking pay for that objectively. Now, if you're in the self-growth space, that's a good thing. You want to be held accountable. You don't want to just run your life into a ditch and have nobody tell you otherwise, right? So, but one thing about the blasting back thing, it just seems to be like a brain hack or trick or there's something about the wiring. It does seem to be something about the wiring of like when I watch myself try and process and read and understand something, it's like if somebody's telling me something, first of all, it's like it's all good if I already know it. Like that's where they're saying something. It's literally the bucket thing. It's like, okay, if you're saying this, I'm like, I have a bucket for that goes here and it's sorted out. So if I have no bucket and you're talking, like I'm just sitting there, going, what is this about? What's going on? Which bucket do I put this in? What, like, just throw it away bucket. And then your body gets really fidgety and you can't listen. So if you're talking about something like these two, where they're talking about a common thing they both FI like, then what he's doing when he's actually trying to listen, right? This is what you'll see with your consume last friends. It's a good thing if they actually repeat back to you everything you just fucking said to them, even though you're like, what the fuck, right? But it's their way of going, all right, I'm going to actually resort what you're saying, even though they're going to frame it the same way they already had it, plus about 1%. Like if you do this 10,000 times, you will actually be able to move your consume last friend and get them to learn a little bit over time. And so it's just Neil's brain is there some kind of a thing where it's like, I won't listen to you, but I'll listen to me. I think it's especially the consume last that's DI, the sleep last play. I think, for example, like blast, play, sleep, consume last is not as consume last as my style, right? Because they at least have the DE where they're trying to listen. They're actually trying to listen to the tribe. He's like fake listening to the tribe. And therefore, if he's going to listen to anybody, he can only listen to his DI self. So he has to repeat it back because he's only going to listen to him say the same old thing.
I'm sure you don't want to talk about it, as I'm sure you've been hearing about it nonstop, but the dislikes. So how have you seen removing dislikes improve the platform? And what metrics can we now use instead to see if people actually like our videos?
I think what might be most useful to your audience is actually giving you a little bit of color in terms of how we went about making those types of product decisions. And that's actually how my team operates on all sorts of decisions we make. And really, it's about making sure that we're doing the right thing for the entire community by balancing creators and viewers and partners and what have you. And in this particular case, it was really about protecting our creators. And as we dug in terms of had the conversations, got a lot of feedback from creators, and we got a lot of feedback even before we rolled this out, as you can imagine, because what we wanted to do was set up the right sorts of tests and experiments to understand whether the product change we were designing was going to accomplish what we wanted to. And what we wanted to accomplish was to protect creators from, dislike bombing, those sort of coordinated attacks that would happen that eventually would start to become a form of harassment. But also in terms of negligible impact on viewers. For that reason, I feel like not only did we go about the decision in the right way? And I recognize it's always a trade-off. These are especially for something that has been part of YouTube for so long. But I also think that the data a year later has borne out some of the original thesis behind why we made that change. And so I appreciate the question, and I know it's something that pops up in the community, but I wanted to address it thoroughly because we have looked at this pretty closely.
What the circle jerk talk was that? Like you think like he's some CEO just running in circles. Like, no, his brain is going, look, I want to summarize the importance and the understanding, and if I could just tell you all the big picture stuff, then you'll and Justine's going, yeah, but you took away the dislike button, everybody's really upset, and you're not really like giving us anything simple, which at times, to give Neil a fucking shot here, it's like, there are times where it's like, look, there are really, really complex issues, and I know society wants grunt only, and sometimes you really can't get down to grunt only, but, I get it, but then just a side rant, just my own personal thing, like they took away the dislike button. Like I get it, because I do the same kind of thing, like running our business, like just pissing off the community constantly. I'm like, look, I know. Like, I fucking know. And I think it's just that. Like, I think if Neil was like, I know, right? It's like if you come corner me, like, hey, but you're your business, and you're not doing this, and you're doing this too much, and what about this, and why aren't you doing this? Notice I'm not giving any examples. Fill in your own examples. Most likely, the response from me you're gonna get from me is like, I know. Fucking working on it. It sucks. Or I'll say like, look, I hate it too, but it has to be that way. Otherwise, this blows up over here. And so like, I'm finding from being in both sides of the business and stuff, I'm trying to trust Neil and Susan because I strongly don't like the idea that you took away the dislike button because I'm using that to get calibration and feedback on what a good video is and what a bad video is. And sure, somebody's gonna get bullied in the corner. That's what the fucking internet's for. You're getting bullied in real life, so you go on the internet and you bully somebody else. So that's just my opinion. So where does that negative energy then bounce off? Oh, great job. It's gonna show up somewhere else. I know. Have no negative energy, and that is the most toxic, craziest person you need to look out for. People that are saying shit like that, right? So the point is, I want to try and like be like, I don't know, let them run their thing. Maybe they know more than me. Maybe it does weigh out pros and cons, as well as TikTok. Because in capitalism, with competition, which is where you want to be in some type of competitive force, is that competition will balance it out. Because maybe the other competing place is like, no, dude, dislike buttons all day long. Like Neil, and they did all their fucking research, but come join the party over here where you can fucking dislike bomb everybody you want, right? So the market will eventually sort it out. And so you're in life, you're trying to place your bets. You're like, I think this is what reality, because there will be a judgment day eventually. Reality will settle itself. It'll resettle itself. That's why you don't got to worry about corporations getting way out of balance, which that's what they do. That's what they do. Like that's all planned for. Okay? Everybody knows that corporations will get way out of balance. That's why there's a counterbalance every 20, 30, 40 years. That's okay.
Neil Mohan is the most mysterious man on YouTube. He's the new CEO, and people don't know what to think about him, so I decided to invite him to a music festival to get a vibe check on him. And he said yes. I decided to put my best foot forward and get commemorative best friend t-shirts made.
Nice.
Neil and I had lunch together and he bought me my favorite food. Neil and I made our own secret handshake. Neil and I unsubscribed from Mr. Beast. Neil gave me a piggyback ride when my feet started to hurt. I didn't even ask. Neil and I signed a legally binding agreement that prioritizes my videos over everyone else's videos on the YouTube algorithm.
Need you to stop.
Overall, I give Neil a 9.5 out of 10.
Oh, God damn it.